Welcome, my beautiful writers, and this series is all about script feedback. Where to go, what to ask for, what to do when you've got it, and how to get the best value for money out of it. We're also going to be covering script coverage scoring as a development tool to improve your screenplay. So with so much to get done, we better get started. In this series, we're going to explore the two kind of classic avenues for feedback. The first is through readers, consultants, and editors, and their job is to work with you to make the screenplay the very best it can be, not just in relation to story, but also in relation to format and presentation. So on the other side, it's the market's reaction. What's the marketability of your project? What would be the reaction if it went across the desk of a producer, director, actor, etc.? Although there is no set rule in relation to the format of these reports, they all encompass very similar themes. For example, they will go into the structure and they'll have a log line, they'll talk about the premise, they'll talk about characters and plot and presentation and writing style, etc. Script coverage is used by agencies and competitions and producers and all sorts of different bodies in the industry to be able to rank screenplays that come across their desk, and it's a scoring system. It's a numbers game. We've got an entire episode on how that works, so please click the little subscription and bell icon because you don't really want to miss that. It's amazing to go into the details. But that's used effectively to determine whether your screenplay is going to go forward. So if you want the worksheets that accompany this series, you can download them for free using the discount code at the end of this video. Just hop along then to clickimagination.com and go to the downloads page. So for script reports, the old adage goes, you get what you pay for, but don't assume that if you're paying for 4 pages from one consultant and 10 pages from the other, that the 10 pages is a better deal, because I would much rather have 4 pages of gold than 10 pages of dribble. So let's look first at synopsis, which is the most controversial, if you like, of all of the headings, because this is the point where the reader will tell the story back to the screenwriter, and the screenwriter will look at that, or some can sometimes, and go, why have I paid for a page for them to tell me my own story? This is just padding. I don't need this. I want you to get on to the important points. But hang on, because the thing with the synopsis is the reader will set out their understanding of your screenplay. They will set out what they have read that you have put on the page. And the warning in that is, for the screenwriter, is that what you've intended? Has the script that they've read been the one that you wanted to write? So that's why synopsis is a really important part. So if you're asking for feedback, a synopsis should definitely be on there. Don't be tempted to just think it's padding. It's not. It's probably one of the most vital components of your script report. Premise is kind of a catch-all. It's all about, has your screenplay delivered? You know, does it actually, it set itself up, has it delivered on that expectation? You know, is this trying to be Goodfellas, but it ends up being Stop or My Mama Will Shoot? So have you actually succeeded in delivering what you wanted to deliver? Is the screenplay high concept? And what I mean by that is, if you were to step into a lift with Steven Spielberg and press the button for the ground floor, would you be able to pitch your movie and they could visualize the poster in the time it takes to reach the ground floor? Theme can feel somewhat ethereal. It's about the glue that holds the story together. There's a common thread that runs through your screenplay. Your screenplay is trying to say something. When asked, what's your screenplay about, it's the theme that the writer often quotes. So this section is all about, does the theme run all the way through the screenplay? Is it clear, and does it stand out and be obvious to the reader? Is your hero truly heroic and pushed to their limits? Is the antagonist, the villain, are they truly horrible and villainous and a real foe for the hero to step up and fight? Are all the other characters working together? Do you have too many characters or too few? Can you imagine stars literally fighting to play those parts? So this is about the mechanics of the storytelling. Do you understand storytelling? And it's not a kind of Hollywood model, mathematical equation, but have you taken the reader on a journey? Is it an emotional roller coaster? Do you understand the act structure and principles of beginning, middle and end? Is everything brought together and completed satisfactorily at the end of the movie? Is it clear on the page that you are a master of your craft? So this is about the nitty-gritty. This is about how the stories and the plots all weave together to take the audience on that journey, and also how it's all brought to a satisfactory conclusion at the end. This is kind of self-explanatory, but does it fit the tone? Is it believable? Is there too much dialogue? Is it too little? Has the writer spent too much time putting into dialogue what could be described or delivered through action? Does it feel real in terms of the world of the story? So this is about whether the script hits the notes required of the genre. For example, if it's a thriller, is it thrilling? If it's a horror, is it horrific? And also, is it consistently horrific? Now, you can mash these up. You can have horror comedy, action thriller, or thriller, comedy thriller, whatever. But there has to be consistency. It's not the first half is comedy and the second half is action. The industry sees the audience in specific boxes, so your screenplay needs to deliver on those expectations. So with pacing, it's all about urgency. Does it feel like the story is pulling the reader through, or is it just meandering like some drunk staggering around trying to get home? Is it correctly formatted to industry standards? Is it full of spelling errors? Is the length appropriate for the current market? Does it paint a picture in the reader's mind? So these next three questions you'll often see bundled together, and the answer to these collectively is really the premise. So these questions are: what was the writer trying to achieve when they wrote their screenplay? In what ways were they successful? And then in what ways did they fall short? So now we get on to the meat and potatoes. How saleable is your screenplay? How capable is it to push through an already dense market and find a space and find an audience? So here we are in the real world of script coverage. And your script is going to get a circle round these three headings: recommend, consider, or pass. It's the dichotomy of the industry. You might have written a killer screenplay, an absolutely amazing story. However, that doesn't necessarily mean there is somebody who wants to make it. And it also doesn't mean that there's a sufficient audience that's going to go and watch it. The writer can write what they write. That's their prerogative. And good quality writing will always shine through. However, that doesn't mean that it's necessarily commercial. Sad as that is, also the opposite is true. Very bad writing, but with a great premise, could sell. So the honest question a writer should be asking really way back in the development project is: where do you see your movie? Where do you see it screened? Now, is it a big popcorn movie? Is it a local thing you're going to do with some friends? And you need to have that honest look, because otherwise the choices you make in terms of what feedback you take on board and what you disregard is entirely down to you, and it's down to you delivering on that vision. If somebody's telling you all the way through it's a brilliant story but it's not commercially viable, that's your choice as to what you do to either move it an inch to the left or right and make it commercially viable, or continue on the tracks and your existing path. If you want the worksheet that accompanies this series, then please visit clickimagination.com or follow the links somewhere around here. So in the next episode, we're going to look at how and when to get feedback to save you time and money. So please click the little subscription thing and the little bell that everybody seems to go on about, and I will see you in the next episode. Take care and happy writing across their desk. And that's an enormous question. Oh, you had it nailed, and then you went off on one, didn't you, lad? You did. You went off on one. I don't know why. You just went off on one like a crazy, crazy wild man. I've got no idea. I can't help you. That man on that monitor up there. You're a f***ing idiot. And one of these days, you'll go into a pub, you'll get picked out for being so you are, you'll be followed home, and then is what'll happen to you, lad. And I'll be laughing at you when it does. Yes.